Hey there, Anna with the Sisters Enchanted here to do a deck review on the Gods and Titans Oracle. I'm doing this review to start with because if you know and you're a part of our community, we do a deity chat every month in our group, The Enchanted Journey, and a lot of people ask me what my favorite decks are for gods and goddesses, and this is one of my favorite decks of all time, let alone for the masculine energy. So this is the Gods and Titans Oracle. This is the guidebook. It comes in a hard box that has a lid and a bottom, and this is by Stacey DeMarco, and it's illustrated by Jimmy Manton, and this is the guidebook. And in the guidebook there is an introduction, a way to make a dedication to your cards, tools you may need for the cards, because each card has a kind of ritual that you can do with it, so this gives you a list of things that you might need to do those rituals. And also card spreads. So there's lots of different card spreads, and I have found a lot of use and good readings from this Odin spread. It's a 9-card spread that talks to you about the ruling card of the entire reading, the heart and problem of the issue of the subject, the obstacles, fears, and barriers, how you should proceed, and the positive goal that you would like to achieve. And I do this spread probably just once a month as like an energetic check-in. The cards are in alphabetical order, with a depiction of the card. Sorry, I'm not very centered. With a depiction of the card, as well as the name of the deity on the card, their keyword, and then there's like a little quote here. So this is a cat with his word dedication, and then it says, "It is time to complete a current project and dedicate yourself to your next venture. It is safe to commit." And then it gives you some mythology backstory on each deity, as well as it talks about like when that card pops up, what it means, and then there's a shadow side. So if it's reversed, if you read reversals, or if like you're doing that Odin spread and there's a challenge or something, you might read it as the shadow side. Symbols to look for if that energy is around you, and an invocation and something that you can say, and a ritual that you can do. So it's in alphabetical order, and like I said, there's a little bit of information, and every once in a while there's a bigger illustration. But it's a pretty good guidebook, and it's a really good, it gives you a good little chunk of kind of mythology for a general story of each deity that is depicted in the cards. So every god or titan has a little bit of story, and a kind of energy underneath them. This is the back of the cards. And I'm going to try to make sure I'm straight as possible because my camera is not, it's off to the side. So maybe we'll just flip them around. So that's the back. And here are the cards. They're not in order or anything. And I hope that you can see them okay. We can maybe even try to get in here a little bit better. And maybe focus in. Okay, so this is what the cards look like. So this is Cernunnos and Shapeshifting. Ares with his keyword of war, Ra and power, Hades and death, Shiva, destroyer, Apollo, inquiry, Lu, skill, Vulcan, inventiveness, Akhet, dedication, Ul, focus, Achilles, confidence, Ganesh, obstacles, Loki, play, Odin, guidance, Typhoon, anger and rage, Poseidon, flow. Love Poseidon's little like man braid he has up here. Anubis, protection. I love this card. There's a sister deck to this card, which is the Goddesses and Sirens card deck, and I'm not a big fan of that deck. For instance, like Anubis here is portrayed how he is typically in mythology and in when you hear about him, that he has a jackal-like head. In the Goddesses and Sirens Oracle, like there's like Bast is in it, the cat-headed goddess, as well as Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess, and Hathor, who usually has a cow head, and they're just depicted as regular, like, warrior women, like very Xena warrior princess, and so I don't love those cards and their depictions, but I like how, even though these are very masculine in their depictions, that he at least, Jimmy Manton, the artist, at least captures, like, what they could potentially may have looked like in a mythological sense in their descriptions. So Anubis here is a jackal-headed god and not just like a manly man standing here. So I like his depictions in this deck better. I don't really use the sister version of this deck, but I will do a review on that one as well. But I do really like this one. So Maui and Discovery, Vishnu and Balance, and I like how there's a lot of different kinds of like cultures and variety of gods in this deck as well. Thoth and Wisdom, Set and Chaos, Zeus and Leadership, Prometheus and Altruism, Osiris, Renewal, Dionysus, Ecstasy, Hypnos and Sleep, Helios, Cycles, the Jade Emperor, Organization, Mithras, Sacrifice, Nuada, Perfection, Vaime, Beauty, Garuda, Travel, Eros, Love, Jizo, Support, Apu, Fear, Thor, Action, Green Man, Abundance, and Hermes, Communication. So it's a regular, I believe, 42 card deck. I could be wrong, but I think it's 42. And like I said, it's one of my favorites. I keep it by my bedside at all times. I'm a card a day kind of puller with it. It also goes with me if I travel. And I find it really good for just the general energy. I find it really good to have that kind of masculine energy in a deck when a lot of decks are really feminine balanced, or not balanced, but really feminine in their essence. So I really like this one, and like I said, I get a lot out of that Odin spread, and I get a lot of just knowing about the energy around me. I get a lot of the same cards frequently, like Typhoon, Anger and Rage, that's one of my most pulled cards, as well as Ares and Poseidon, and Hermes are some of my most pulled cards, and Thor. So I like their consistency. I think that they have a little bit of a sense of humor. Like, I have been traveling in the car and pulled Garuda, who is travel. He's the bird deity depicted. This kind of dragon bird is Garuda, and I've like literally been on a plane and pulled that card. So I think it has a good sense of humor. I think that it comes through, like if I'm up late at night till midnight pulling cards and playing and journaling, I'll get Hypnos that says sleep. So they're also really rational in what they have to say, or really good at reminding you to be in a certain focus or mindset, or telling you, if you pull one at the beginning of the day, telling you that like today might be a little bit harder and to keep pushing forward. But I find a lot, like I said, in that Odin spread, it's gives me a lot of information and gives me a lot to think on or journal on if I so choose to. But I like how there's a lot of different themes and a lot of different gods and or titans that are shown here, and that they talk to you a lot. And like Set, for instance, how he's chaos, and if you're familiar with his mythology, you know how he he kills his brother Osiris, and it's this whole thing, and then he fights years of wars with Horus, and it talks about how you can use that kind of energy in your life, and that even though somebody may be seen as inherently like in shadow or in dark, that there's always a light to all of that, and that we need chaos to have order and all these other things. So I like the messages that it gives, and I like the way that it makes all of their information and their mythology in small spurts really digestible and really easy to follow. So I use this one all the time. I use it regularly in my tarot practice. I pull a card at the end, one from this deck and one from a goddess deck, not the one that's the other one by Stacey DeMarco, but another one. And I use it a lot to balance out a reading at the end and do a feminine masculine balancing, but I really like it, and this is for you Enchanted Journey members or Sisters Enchanted members or anybody out there who has been asking me about this deck and you've only saw it in small amounts, either in a reading from me or when we are doing our chats. But this is it. I think it's beautiful. It's holding up really well. I mean, the cardstock's not like fantastic, but I shuffle in many ways and they're holding up. They're just maybe a little banged up on the edges, but nothing too bad. They're a really good size, standard oracle size. Like, this is a tarot card. So they're standard oracle, but I really like them, and I think that they fill a need, at least for me and in my reading, to have this kind of male energy, this divine masculine energy come through, and they've always been really spot on for me, and for my readings for clients, so I really love it. I know there's a lot of people that don't love this deck, but I love it. It's probably my most used deck in general. And yeah, this is the Gods and Titans Oracle, again by Stacey DeMarco, illustrated by Jimmy Manton, and that's pretty much it. I find it to be really consistent and really beautiful, and I love reading it. I've read the book straight forward and back probably numerous times, but I'm also a lover of mythology, so that's also why I do that. So yeah, I'm Anna with the Sisters Enchanted, and thank you so much for following me along here with my flip through and review of the Gods and Titans Oracle, and I'll be back soon for more.